Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome back to another video for your Sunday afternoon, February 6, 2022. And this afternoon's video is going to be another best 1 through to 17 for season 2022. And today's best 1 through to 17 is going to be the Gold Coast Titans. I did the Cowboys one yesterday, and I'm going to be doing the Gold Coast Titans one today. But before I get into that, make sure you guys go ahead and like this video. Comment your thoughts on the Titans 1 through to 17 that I have selected in the comment section below. And most importantly, hit the subscribe button, fellas. It's much appreciated. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. But without further ado, let's get into the Nick from Australia best 1 through to 17 for the Gold Coast Titans for season 2022. Now, these players, whether they're injured at the start of the year, whether they have a suspension, this is when their side is fully fit. So let's get into it. The Gold Coast Titans best 1 through to 17. And fullback, I've gone with Jaden Campbell. On the wings, Corey Thompson and Philip Semi. In the centres, Brian Kelly and Patrick Herbert. 5'8", AJ Brimson. Halfback, Toby Sexton. The front row, I've gone with Moe Fodawaker and Tino Fasua Malawi. Still can't pronounce Tino's last name, but Big Tino. At hooker, I've gone with Aaron Clark. In the second row, I've gone with Bo Fermor and David Fafita. At lock, I've gone with Isaac Liu. And on the bench, jersey 14, Will Smith. I've also gone with Jared Wallace at 15. Jamin Jolliffe at 16. And number 17, rounding off the bench, I've gone with Sam Lasone. And 18th man, I've gone with Tanner Boyd as 18th man. I think Tanner Boyd will be the 18th man. And obviously the head coach is Justin Holbrook. Now, let me go through why I've got some of the players in certain positions. So obviously starting off with the fullback, Jaden Campbell. Jaden Campbell played a fair bit of football at the back end of last year for the Gold Coast. I think he made his debut just after the halfway mark, and he ended up playing pretty much the rest of the year at fullback for the Titans. He's a terrific young kid. Jaden Campbell, I think he's got a lot of potential. Obviously, playing a handful of games doesn't make you a NRL regular starter, but the way the Titans are looking to go with their direction, they want to go more on a bit of youth, also a little bit of experience. So I think Jaden Campbell will be the fullback to start the year for the Titans, and if he keeps playing well, he could be the fullback for the Titans for the next 5 to 10 years, or however long he wants to be. But really, it's up to Jaden Campbell how long he can be fullback for the Titans, because I think he's the right man for the job. So Jaden Campbell's the fullback. The wingers, obviously Corey Thompson and Philip Semi. Now, Corey Thompson picks himself. Thompson was very good last year for the Gold Coast Titans. I've been saying that for a while now. Corey Thompson is one of the most underrated wingers in the game. He's a Queenslander. How he hasn't played an Origin game for Queensland yet is beyond me. Maybe he's a chance this year. Who knows? But Phil Thompson last year was very good for the Titans. Forney had a really good year last year, and there's no reason why he won't be in the 17 come round one and majority of the year. So Thompson will be on one wing. The other winger, I've gone with Philip Semi or Philip Sami. Now, some would go with Greg Marzoo. Some would go with maybe someone else. But I think Philip Semi probably gets the nod here. I think Philip Semi's best position is on the wing. I think he will get first crack at it. I think he deserves first crack at it. I do want to see Greg Marzoo get a run at some stage, but I think to start the year, I think Philip Semi will get the first crack. And I think Philip Semi on attack is very good, but defensively is where the concern comes in for him. But Semi's a very good young kid coming through, and I think he will be on the wing with Corey Thompson. In the centres, obviously I went with Brian Kelly and Patrick Herbert in there as well. Now, Brian Kelly, a bit like Corey Thompson, I think Brian Kelly is a very underrated centre. I think he does his job very well. He gets a bit underappreciated. I think Brian Kelly, if you look at all the centres in the competition, Brian Kelly is definitely in the top 20 centres in the NRL. I don't think he's in the top 10. I think he's in the top 20, maybe top 15. He's an exceptional player, Brian Kelly. I think going into this year, he has a bit more to prove. I think last year was one of his better years in the NRL. So I'm really intrigued to see how he goes this year, Brian Kelly. But obviously he'll get first crack in the centres. The other centre, the guy that not many people want to talk about anymore because of the final last year. We all know what happened where he didn't pass the ball, which obviously the Titans didn't win because of that bad botch at the end of the game. But Patrick Herbert will be the other centre. He'll play right side again. Now, everyone wants to back Patrick Herbert about that elimination final muck-up where he didn't pass the ball. But here's the thing. Before that even happened, 79 minutes of that game, Patrick Herbert was the Titans' best player in that game against the Roosters. So go back and watch it. Paddy Herbert was one of the best players on the field for the Titans, if not the whole game. Easily top 3, top 5 players on the ground that game against the Roosters last year. Now, I think Herbert will definitely get first crack. I think he deserves to get first crack. Now, I don't rate Patrick Herbert as highly as other people. I think there could be better options than Patrick Herbert maybe in the near future. But I think to start the year, I think what's best for the Titans, I think he starts the year at centre with Brian Kelly. So that's what I would go with. But I don't think Patrick Herbert's position at right centre is safe by any means. I think there's other players there that are going to be really pushing to try and take that spot off him. Now let's go to the halves. Now, this is the biggest question mark with the Titans this year, the halves. 5'8", AJ Brimson, halfback Toby Sexton. Now, I'll start with AJ Brimson. AJ Brimson hasn't played a NRL game in the halves for quite some time now. And I know he played 5'8" through his juniors and 18s and early 20s or whatever it was. But AJ Brimson, he has he has a history of having a few injuries early on in his career. I think he's a very, very good young player. I think he already played an Origin game or two. Brimson did. I just get a little bit concerned about defensively. Can AJ Brimson handle the 5'8" position? Does he have the kicking, ability to be like the other 5'8" in the game? I'm not too sure. But one thing's for sure: attack. He won't have a problem. I can guarantee you that. In attack, he'll be a nightmare for the other sides. But Brimson, I still have a few question marks on him at 5'8". I think he will play 5'8" to start the year. Obviously, with Fogarty gone and not really any other experienced half laner. And obviously, they've got Tanner Boyd there. And Will Smith went up there as well from the Eels. But I don't know, man. I have a few question marks on this, but we'll see how it goes. But I think Brimson at 5'8" will probably be the best thing for the Titans to start off the year. Just got to try and stay injury-free. Now, the halfback, Toby Sexton. Toby Sexton's another young talent coming through who has plenty of reps on him. He played about, 3 to 5 games last year and looked pretty good. Went back to the Queensland Cup in the finals, and he really, really struggled in that, which was disappointing. But Toby Sexton's got a lot to work on, man. He's a young halfback coming through. A lot of pressure will be on him this year. The Titans made finals last year. The expectation for them will be to try and get there again, and they've got a young halfback here in Sexton. A lot of pressure on the Titans and Toby Sexton, so we'll see how it goes. But I think that's probably the best for the Titans to start the year. Go with a bit of a youth halves combination of Brimson and Sexton, and we'll see how it goes. Now let's go to some of the obvious positions. The front row, Fodawaker and Tino. Now, I know Fodawaker came off the bench last year and Wallace started, but I think Fodawaker needs to be starting now. I think he's ready to be a starter for the Titans. He's a Queensland prop. He will be for the next 10 years, as long as he stays consistent and keeps playing some really good footy. Fodawaker's a good kid, man. Big fan of him. I think he should start. I think it will be best for the Titans if Fodawaker is starting front row this year, along with Tino, who's been named the Titans captain. Well done to Tino and being named the Titans captain. I think Tino is obviously one of the first guys picked for the Titans. He will start and he will do a great job as he always does. The hooker position, Aaron Clark, another position that the Titans have a few question marks on. Obviously, the whole spine's got a question mark on it, but no recognised hooker, no genuine, top 5, top 10 hooker in the game for the Titans this year. Aaron Clark, we'll see how it goes. I think someone like, what's his name? I bought him from the Warrior. I bought him from the Storm. Aaron Booth, I think he will be definitely on the cusp of potentially being in there. Will Smith or Tanner Boyd also could take his spot as well. But I think to start the year, they'll go with Aaron Clark, and I think they should go with Aaron Clark to start the year. I think Aaron Clark's a player that had a few games last year, so I think he'll start at hooker to start the year. For the Gold Coast, the back row, but obviously I went with Bo Fermor, David Fafita. Now I'll start with Bo Fermor. Bo Fermor was so good at the back end of last year. Fafita was on the bench at some stages. So Bo Fermor, as long as he keeps training it really well in the preseason and he has a really good off-season. Brimson to start off the year. Both them will start left edge back row, I think. And the other back row will be David Fifita, obviously, the $1 million man. When David Fifita went to the right edge back row last year, he looked like a much better player, so I wouldn't change much there. Fermor and Fifita in the back row. Lock, Isaac Liu. They bought him from the Roosters. I think it's a good signing. Experience, leadership, quality player, probably a top 10 lock in the game. I'd say he's top 10, top 12. Isaac Liu, I think, is a very good player. I think he'll be good for the Titans, so I think he'll start at 13 for the Gold Coast. Now onto the bench. The jersey 14, the utility. I went with Will Smith. You could have went Tanner Boyd. You could have went with Aaron Booth, but Will Smith, he can cover more positions, I think. So I think he'll be the jersey 14 for the Titans. He'll be their utility player. The two bench props I've got, Jared Wallace and Jamin Jolliffe. Jared Wallace, obviously a Queensland forward and very experienced. So Jared Wallace is probably the first guy picked for the bench, if not the starting side. So Wallace is a no-brainer. Along with Jamin Jolliffe, who had a very good year last year. I'm a big fan of Jamin Jolliffe. I think he's a player to keep a close eye on. He could even be an international player in the near future. So Wallace and Jolliffe on the bench, along with Sam Lasone, who's a wrecking ball. Sam Lasone, I think he'll be in the back. I think he'll be on the bench. I think he'll replace Kevin Proctor. I think he'll start over on the bench over Proctor this year, to be honest with you. And so Lasone makes the bench. And 18th man, I've gone with Tanner Boyd. I think Tanner Boyd at 18th man would be good. He can play in the halves. He can play a bit of hooker. He can play maybe a few other positions as well. But that's my Gold Coast Titans best 1 through to 17. Fellas, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about this video, guys. Let me know if you agree with the team that I selected or you disagree. Let me know in the comment section below. But, guys, I'm getting out of here. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night.